Mission Impossible 2 or not 2, 4 Ghost Protocol. This one is probably one of my favorites of the Mission Impossible franchise, though keep in mind I haven't seen 5. I've seen Fallout, but this one's definitely one of my favorites, and I think that's because Brad Bird directed it, which, if you don't know Brad Bird, he directed Iron Giant, The Incredibles, Ratatouille. He also did the second one, but my theory is that AI directed that movie. I'm joking, but man, that does not feel the same as the first Incredibles movie. And that sucks because I really love the first Incredibles movie. But anyways, this was kind of his first venture into live action, which I think makes a lot of sense. Because if you watch The Incredibles has a very noirish spy movie feel to it, at least the first one. And in some ways, I think he would actually be better at directing a James Bond movie because of that reason. I mean, The Incredibles is very obviously very James Bond inspired. There's a lot of music and elements that feel straight out of the 60s. And I think, in a way, it's not really disclosed within the films, but it seems pretty explicit in a way that it's set in the 60s. Clearly he has a love for that time period. However, Mission Impossible is kind of also a 60s franchise where it started as a TV show back in the 60s. So I think this is a smart thing to have Brad Bird start with. And it is really well done. His direction is very solid, and I feel like this is the movie out of all of the movies that feels the most like the actual series. I now take that criticism lightly. I haven't watched little, if any at all, of the show, but I feel like this is the one I could see fitting in the most with that show. The the gadgets are a lot more goofy in this movie, but they also work because they're grounded. In fact, a lot of the gadgets in the movie break a lot in the movie, and that adds to the tension and makes some real danger. It has some great sequences, like the Dubai sequence. It's just a really well directed, put together movie that I think is really solid. It's probably my favorite of the not James Bond, Mission Impossible movies. It might it might change after I see the last two again, but I think that it is still a very, very, very well directed movie. And it was kind of unfortunate because I think after this movie, people wanted to see Brad Bird direct more live action stuff. And the only thing that he really did was Tomorrowland, which was a huge flop. And to be honest, that was with critics and audiences and at the box office. So even though I kind of enjoyed that movie had a lot of issues though.